Hey, John, can we go back to the ranting segment of the show?
Doug, I think we're going to, whether we want to or not.
Well, anyway, this is Santa Clarita's hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. You're listening to the Gazette Radio Hour with Doug and John. This thing is just, it's consuming me, John. I don't even want to talk about football today. This thing, this.
Wait a minute. Hang on.
What?
You just said you don't want to talk about football.
I'm not in the mood. I want to talk about the budget and
what about the Dodgers? You want to talk about the Dodgers?
Yeah.
See, now you feel better?
Okay. But anyway.
We have a special guest.
We do. Is this Dante? Dante Acosta, are you on the line?
I sure am.
Hi, buddy.
Dante, can you help me out here? Well, Dante Acosta, you're running for city council, isn't that right?
That's correct.
Awesome. I have a favor to ask, though.
Uh-oh, what do you need?
Well, it's nothing spectacular. It's not like I need you to rezone my driveway or give me a parking spot somewhere or anything. Doug has been ranting all day on some of the national politics stuff. Now, you are probably a little bit more well-versed in that than our normal guests. Can we talk about that for a little bit? Is that all right with you?
That'd be fine.
Oh, good. Because Doug is having problems with, well, where do you start, Doug?
Where do you start?
Well, let's start with the shutdown.
I say shut the whole thing down. Except for my kid getting his military pay and my mom getting her Social Security check. Is that selfish, Dante?
No, I don't think it's selfish. I think it's practical. We've got our seniors who have counted on and relied on all their lives that they're going to be getting a benefit when they go to retire. And we've, of course, you know how I feel about the military. They put their lives on the line, and they've made a commitment, and they just ask, can we get our little $1,500 to $3,000 a month, which is really about all they get.
Yep, exactly.
And I don't think it's too much to ask.
So, John disagrees with me, but I don't have a problem with the Republicans wanting to piecemeal, if you will, some of the budget stuff. They're passing one thing at a time, asking the Senate to pass it so these essential government functions can happen. But the Senate saying, no, it's all or nothing. How do you feel about that?
Well, all or nothing is not a negotiation. That is something that I think we all learn, in kindergarten, it seems like, but our elected officials don't always seem to get that message. But, they're all playing to their constituencies, aren't they? They're all saying
exactly.
We've got one side or the other side that's they're getting their emails, they're getting their phone calls, they're meeting with their constituents, and they're saying, yeah, rah, keep doing what you're doing. And as long as we have that, we're not going to come to any kind of consensus until things really start to break. And what will cause it to break are incidents like our World War II vets who, for the first time perhaps in their lives, and maybe the last time they'll ever have the opportunity to do it, go to the national monuments, the World War II monument, and can't get in.
Yeah, the honor flight.
Yes, exactly. The honor flights, we've got a local organization headed up by Dick Jeffrey that does that. And look, unless people scream about those things, I was yelling at the television because one of our cemeteries in France is closed. It's just an open-air walk through the cemetery, pay your respects. That doesn't make sense to me.
No.
And did you hear the panda cam at the zoo is off?
Well, a lot of this seems like, I didn't hear that, but
that's tragic.
It doesn't surprise me. What it seems like is, let's inflict as much pain on the American people so they scream at their elected representatives to get this thing fixed. And I understand that, but at the same time, we're not the ones that caused the problems. We basically hired elected folks to go back to D.C. and say, do a job, talk to each other, play nice, let's make this thing work for the best interest of the American people, and frankly, it's not happening.
That's what people
Dante,
forget.
I'd like to go back to what you said about these guys as constituency. You can't say that word.
The constituents.
Yeah, the constituents. Do you think they ever get feedback from their constituents saying, no, I don't agree with you, and then they are forced to either hold that inside, or do they have to turn on Mr. Reed? You see what I'm getting at? If they're hearing something else from home, different from what they're saying in Congress.
Oh, I think there's always a negative aspect to whatever they do, whatever, if you're a Democrat or Republican, an independent, what have you, you're always going to get someone sending in a nasty email to disagree with you. That's just the nature of the business. However, I think it's what it takes is a preponderance, a landslide of people calling up or phoning or emailing, these days emailing or tweeting,
exactly,
and saying, hey, you know what, enough of this. And that's the only time I think you'll start seeing the chinks in the armor and the cracks. And I think, maybe we're starting to see a little bit of fraying, but right now, it seems like we're in this for a little while here.
Do we really need a solution? Because I'm looking at it and I'm going, well, what do? They shut down all non-essential government services. Well, the first question I had is, what's a non-essential government service? And if it's non-essential, why do we need it?
Well, exactly. If it is not essential, then let's just start with that. Let's start with, okay, what did you shut down you figured was not essential? Let's talk about that. Exactly. We all agree that national security, I think we all agree that the military, finish building the ships, the basic research.
Air traffic control.
Control, the border, of course, those kinds of things, obviously I think we can all agree on, or at least a majority of us, to where we can get that through. But when we've got people in particularly the Senate right now saying we won't even take a look at that bill without X, Y, or Z in it, let's take a look at the things that the administration or the Congress has said are not essential. And then if that's the case, well then why, like you said, John, why do we even need it?
Why do we even need it? Exactly. Hey, Dante, we're up against a break, but if it's okay with you, can we hold you through the break? I do want to talk to you about your city council run, because I think that's going to be just as important. And some of your ideas have calmed Doug down a little bit. Is that all right with you?
Thank you, Dante.
You're welcome.
Can you hang on?
Prozac, huh, Doug?
You're my Prozac.
All right.
Can you hang on after the break, Dante?
You bet.
Awesome. All right. Well, you're listening to the Santa Clarita Gazette Radio Hour on KHTS. Hey, I was close. I was like, you were on Prozac. I'm kind of stuck on that. Anyway, the Gazette Radio Hour on Santa Clarita's hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. We'll be right back with Dante Acosta.